Hello, welcome back to Growing the Game podcast. Happy New Year to all our cherished viewers, and it's good to have you back on the show. Yeah, today I have with me my favorite co-host, in the person of Manyehlisa. Manyehlisa, Happy New Year to you, and welcome back to Growing the Game.
Happy New Year to you, Kwaku, and yes, compliments. Hope you had a great start to the year. Yeah, let's get ready to dissect the issues of African basketball.
Yeah, yes, yeah, and so it's been long. We'll be back in 2026, and we're going to keep it lively. Today we just want to focus on the issue of the salary crisis, whereby players are not being paid, and a franchise being created by the Johannesburg Giants in the where they brought about a ladies. They created a ladies team, and we're going to see a new era in the ladies basketball in South Africa as well. So let's just jump right into it. So we want to talk about the salary crisis. The news were flying around recently when we entered into 2020s, and agencies, players were complaining about not being paid their salaries in the early of this year. Yeah, it's a very delicate issue that we wanted to address and talk about it. Though it has been a normal practice happening in Africa, where we've seen players complaining about not being paid. But I think this one took a toll on us, and we want to talk about it. So let me know your view on this salary crisis thing happening in Africa.
Yeah, it's it's sad to learn that this is happening, especially with African basketball getting so much visibility. The last thing you want to hear is that yes, players are not being paid their salaries on time or not being paid at all. I mean, it hurts the image of basketball on the continent. It hurts the image of basketball in those affected countries, clubs, and yeah, it also hurts the potential for investment. So those are the things that one thinks about when they learn of these issues that players are not being paid their salaries or what there's a fight between themselves and clubs to get their salaries. You wish that African federations, clubs learn that this is a business and they need to start treating it as such so that
Yeah,
what the game on the continent grows.
yeah, that's well said, well put, and I strongly believe in what you said, and yeah, this thing is just gives headache sometimes, when the players travel from their countries or from other continents into Africa just to entertain we the viewers and make the basketball look lucrative and grow. But for the past years now, basketball have been growing rapidly in Africa, and with this kind of things popping up now, I think it's going to kill the energy at which the game is growing. It's very bad. It's very bad. We've got situations in ASVille, the Dakar, not settling their players, whereby the agency had to come out and say no players or no agencies should sign their players there, and it's bad. It's bad. I believe if you can't afford to sign the players, don't sign that player or don't go all out trying to please your fans or trying to get a good recognition or reputation in the tournament whereby you can't even afford to pay the players. It's really bad. It's really bad. And to the extent that at some point, teams are not even paying their hotel fees or accommodation whereby they went to play the WBLA qualifiers and they can't even pay 1,500 US dollars for the hotels. And who takes up these bills? That's the question. After you leave, after you finish playing, who's going to take up these bills? And it's very sad. It's very sad.
Yeah, man. I mean, when you look at it, you have to wonder what federations stances are on this issue, especially when you go and represent the country on the continent. Obviously, the onus is on the club to make sure that their books are in order. They can afford take on these what undertakings of maybe making sure that flight tickets are paid, hotel accommodations are booked and paid for,
Mm.
salaries are organized, and you know that you are bringing premium players to the team and that you can afford them as well as the local players. So, before you'd want maybe an organization like FIBA to make sure make sure that they have mechanisms in order to make sure that clubs can afford these tournaments. You'd want national federations, maybe also at the domestic level, to make sure that clubs can, throughout the season, afford to pay players, afford to take care of their responsibilities. That's also when they travel, They are paying their accommodations, they are paying their salaries of the players, taking care of those basics that go with the
Mhm.
business of basketball. So that's something that needs to be looked into by federations, by FIBA Africa as well.
Talking about federation, we recently saw the massive work being done by the Rwandan Federation as well, whereby they had to sanction a team or expel a team, if my word is correct, from the league because of this same issue, not being able to pay their players. And I think it was a good step, and it's a good example to other federations to learn from. Because as I said earlier, if you know you can run a team, don't run it, don't start it. Take the due process. Yes, that's a fact. If you know you can run a team, don't just start something you can't finish. Or even if you
Yeah,
start it, climb the ladder slowly. Don't jump from 1 to 100. It doesn't happen like that. You know.
I think it's about understanding the business of basketball. Obviously, it's what you know that, again, yes, there's funding of the club, where you're going to source it from, what making sure that salaries of players and staff and the rest of the staff are taken care of, those basic things, knowing that you have a venue that maybe, what, maybe having a venue that, okay, I can source funding from this venue throughout the year, through activities that happen externally. So that can help. That kind of business model, I know it's been proposed by the NBA's venture through the BAL, that they are franchising, the new franchising model that they want to introduce
Yeah.
next year. So clubs can think, it's something for clubs to think about. Maybe a club like Orion, if they had their own facilities, maybe they wouldn't have the predicament that they're facing, because in Rwanda, I think they use the BK arena and a smaller arena. So
Yeah.
everybody is centralized there, rather than, clubs having their own facilities that can pay, that, that can ensure that the club makes an income through other means and not just relying on certain funding from elsewhere.
My question is, do this team CEOs or this team presidents put the right people in offices? Do they put the right people in offices, or they just stand up, pick family members or something and just push them, okay, let's run this whole business together because we're going to get the funds, we're going to get money from potential sponsors to run this club. But because sometimes it looks like they have no structure running clubs in Africa. To be sincere, I'm not trying to discriminate anything, or I'm not trying to speak ill of anything, but that's how the project looks like. Most of the team feels like they have no structure, they have no proper mindset on running a team. They just try to put a team together. Okay, let's put a team together. Let's bring in this player. Let's bring in this player. Let's look very solid for the season. Let's qualify for the BL. Let's qualify for the road to BL. Then we just go play, put our team's image on the line, and then or on at the top. Even if the players come to complain, we don't care. They can do whatever they can do. So far as there are no rules and regulations governing us, or nothing going to chase us for that money, we can just forfeit it and just let go. That's how it looks like.
I doubt that. I mean, even if you were to employ a family member, you have to make sure that that family member has the required skills to make sure that, they are adding value to your organization, institution, your club. Because then, obviously, if that happens, what they call it nepotism, and that person, is just there to come and collect a paycheck, then yes, they end up ruining your business, they end up ruining your club, because they don't have the skills needed to what for the job. So I don't think that is, I think it's about understanding the business, having those skills to run the business, basketball, and making sure that you are able to leverage on it to help leverage its ability, leverage on the business's ability to generate, to provide an income for the club.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Well,
I
well,
think,
well put though.
much as there are institutions that are family businesses and they are successful. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't think you. I don't think, even if it was a family business, a person, even if it's a family business, you still need people to be skilled to run that business.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that you're right though, but Yeah, sometimes it just looks that way, and it's very
Yep.
sad. It's very sad. Let's look at the also the news rising in Burundi, whereby multiple teams. This is not just about one team in Burundi. It's multiple teams being called out for owing players, and in the likes of Orunani, in the likes of Les Hippo, in the likes of Gladiators. This is like a headache, a whole package of headache when you hear this, because if Burundi is one of the best rising basketball countries in Africa,
Yeah.
I would say they're putting up a good project. The federation is doing well to push basketball at that level, and we've seen it. The only problem they lacked was indoor facilities. And,
Yeah.
I think maybe they were working towards that as well, but they've been a growing market when it comes to basketball in Africa. And I really admire what they are doing there. But with this news popping up from Burundi, I feel it's very bad for their image. It's very very bad for their image, and I don't know what you think about that.
I think, yeah, watching Burundi over the years, I think with clubs like Urunano, the Dynamo being the standard bearers for basketball in that part of the world, you are seeing something special. Also, with the type of players that were coming through to come and compete in that league for those various clubs, you were like, yeah, this is, how basketball should be done. Then there is the business side of things where when you recruit the best players, you have to pay them the best salaries, and you have to make sure that it doesn't affect, your bottom line or your finances in the future. If you are going to bring premium players, you are paying them what astronomical amounts of money, then of course you are going to have the kinds of situations that you're having. Maybe we don't know, maybe sponsorship money that they had expected didn't come through. And yeah, there's that negotiation. It's a small excuse, but you have to maybe also make what meet your end of the bargain. Also, with the players, you have to, and agents, you have to also do your due diligence and make sure that this club has a reputation of paying on time, and you won't have issues with payment as well.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. I'm not going to sit here and say, or people are going to say maybe I'm hating on Burundi or I'm doing something. But just to clarify this, I don't hate on Burundi. I really like basketball in Burundi, and I would love to visit them one day and experience the atmosphere over there. But sometimes we need to come out of that bubble, that system whereby we believe, or because I'm a fan of this club, because I push basketball on the continent, I'm going to cover up for everything, even if it's a bad image. I'm going to try not speak about it to give the federation or to give the country a good image. No, this is basketball. The moment it affects a country, it affects the whole Africa, because people from the diaspora
Yeah.
or people who are going to invest money into the basketball system are not going to say it's just Burundi or it's just happening in Burundi, so it's not something entirely in Africa. But it's going to affect the continent as well. It's going to affect the continent because I have messages, I have receipts which shows that, like, from players complaining of ill treatment, not only not paying of their salary, complaining of ill treatment in Burundi, not salaries not paid. In the likes of, we actually know of the story of Patrick McLean, who has taken to social media to demand for his payment. After I made the post about gladiators, he came out under the comment section saying he has been on some couple of dollars or some money. We know the story with him with Cleostas. He wasn't paid in the BL as well, whereby it's created some tension between the team and the whole system. And yes, but sometimes let's not say because the player has this kind of image or the player has done this before, so we're just going to close an eye on this. These are the players that come into the country or the system to make basketball lucrative for us to watch. We pay tickets to go
Yeah.
watch them because of these players. We pay to watch them. So I understand their side also, because these players have to leave their families. They have to leave their
Yeah.
families back home, come into a different continent, come play for you. They have to feed home. They have to send money back home. They have to feed the family as well. It's not like they are playing for fun. So if you keep promises to them, you make promises to them, sorry, you have to keep up your end of the bargain as well. So it's not about we protecting the players or something. We need to protect the players as people who showcase or analyze the game. We need to protect the players because basketball is a very delicate sport whereby Today you can go onto the field, hurt yourself, and you're out forever. You're not going to play again. They have to treat their injuries and everything. So if the teams are doing this, it's very bad. It's very bad.
Yeah, you'd also want for federations to think what arbitration processes maybe where domestically they can address those issues. We know FIBA has that as well, the basketball arbitral arbi- arbitral tribunal, where they can
Yeah.
players agents can take those disputes and they address what and it's raised in that what structure of FIBA. So players should educate themselves about those kinds of things to make sure that whenever there's an issue between myself and a club, there is that outlet where I can, those kinds of matters can be settled.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm pleading. I'm also pleading to on the same topic. I'm pleading on the federation, the Burundi Federation, to take a step. We just got a news that they signed another sponsorship with Amstel to promote the league.
Yeah.
So it's an a Burundi basketball league. I think they're doing the right thing, trying to still promote the image of basketball in Burundi. But these internal issues should be sorted out. If not, then the work they are doing is in vain because now players are leaving. To be sincere, we saw the news of Landry also leaving to City
Yes. Yes.
Oilers. Players are leaving, and the question are the teams going to be affected with this salary thing? Are the teams going to be affected with this bad image that is growing up in Burundi? Do you get it? Teams are even the
Yes.
worst part of this is the worst part of this. If things are like this are happening, you can call the player one side, have a talk like a closed door talk to with the player. These things happen in Europe as well. We can't say that Europe don't face this kind of challenges. They do it, but we don't hear of it because they try to settle this amicably, professionally. I think that's what teams also should learn how to do so that players don't take to social media trying to tarnish their image or trying to make them look bad. With Backline's own, he's tried messaging the president, the coaches, and some people in the teams, and no reply at all. They see his messages and no reply. And the fact that they are even owing him a 14,000 US dollars, it's crazy.
Yeah.
That's a whole lot of money.
True. I
Yeah,
think, yeah, like you've just mentioned now that Amstel has come on board to sponsor the league, which is a good move for the league. They're seeing the value of it. Yes, but the negative PR can impact
exactly.
that sponsorship for the foreseeable future. So clubs have to really do their part in making sure that they professionalize that they have professional systems in place to make sure that they have their finances are in order, which is key to make sure that they are able to run their affairs throughout the season, which is also paying the players what was agreed upon between themselves and the club.
Yeah, yeah. And to even say this, players are being silent a whole like a lot of players are being silent on this because some are being threatened by the fans and the organizations themselves, and they decide not to speak on it. To not yes because they are being threatened. I'm being sincere with you, and it's very bad. It's very bad if it gets to the extent whereby players are being threatened because of their own money. I come to work for you instead of you paying me, or I want to leave at my own. Some players even want to forfeit their contract and leave, and they are like, you can't leave. If you leave, you have to face these consequences, or you have to be punished. You have to be doing this. It's very bad. It's very bad,
Yeah, but
and some players have literally taken the teams to the FIBA, the arbitration, the basketball
yeah.
tribunal. They've taken some teams to that side, and we're going to hear from FIBA soon or something. But I think the federation should step in ASAP. The federation should step in now and try to stop this issue, like stop it from happening in the future. Or else, I think Brody basketball is going to just rise up and just go down just like that because of behaviors of some teams. Actually,
I mean, if these are the top teams like Urunani that are treating players like that, have to wonder what the bottom tier, what it's like at the bottom tier teams as well. That the let's say your Rameshas, your Les Hippos who don't enjoy the same stature as Urunane. You have to wonder if players at those clubs are getting their payments on time. If Urunani is the one what is delaying payments to players. So again, it can't be what the law of the jungle in basketball in Africa. We have to professionalize, and yes, that's the bottom line.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. I used to say this a lot. If this top teams are finding it difficult to even pay their players, then what of the lesser bottom teams, like the
Yeah,
less teams? It's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. And for you to know, this is not only happening in this smaller leagues. It's happening in the top leagues as well. But people are just covering up for them. They've got this system whereby they know how to cover up their bad images so that it doesn't come out to the public. Do you get it? But is it with these teams, these organizations whereby they don't have much knowledge on how to prevent bad news from reaching to the socials or something? That's how it turns out to be. You see, it's affecting them now, but they don't know. They don't
yeah,
know.
man. I mean, you have to look at the situation also here at home of the Cape Town Tigers, where news eventually came out of their
Hmm.
inability to pay players. It was
Yeah.
Leonard Solms had written a lot about it on ESPN, where players like Liam Reed, Raphael Putney had not been were still owed money, or monies also were not properly accounted for. I mean, not sorry, there were discrepancies within their
Mm.
salaries. They were paid, but you'd find that, yeah, it's a few $100s short. And, when you convert it to rent, it's a lot of money. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
they came here with a lot of hype, but they weren't backed up by substance, and they ended up disappearing. So we have to learn lessons from that to make sure that we can't what build on a poor foundation. We have to build on a solid one, and that means you pay what you can afford, and if you are going to bring
Exactly.
premium players as well, you are able to meet their financial demands, and also meet your day-to-day stuff as well, like hotels
Mm.
and those kinds of things. So yeah, I mean, if clubs want to learn, they can learn from that story of the Cape Town Tigers and how they just quickly came and fizzled away.
Yeah, and this to the fans as well. Let's be passionate fans at some point. Let's also own up to the truth. Let's not support a team blindly, even though the team is not doing the good thing. We say, oh, because I'm a fan of this team, I'm a fan of team A or team B. So far as the team is doing something bad, I'm still going to support them, take it to socials, defend them, regardless of what they are doing. I see fans coming under some post I make comment section trying to say what they want to say, use vulgar words and stuff. But let's be sincere, because if you're supporting a team and the team is doing something not good, owing players and stuff, and you want to defend them, make sure that you are defending them on the basis of they doing the right thing, not the bad thing.
Yeah,
Because now you support them doing the bad
absolutely.
thing. It's what no player will tend to come again. Now the project you've built, the image you've built, the standard you've built for yourself. If those players are not coming in to keep up to the standard, now are you going to still support the team if they are sinking? You are not. You're going to then say,
No.
okay, let me move to another team to support them because they are keeping up that standard. And the right thing needs to be done at some point. I keep saying the right thing needs to be done. You can't sell
Yeah,
dreams. You can't sell dreams that you can't keep up or live up to that expectation. Sell dreams that you can afford to maintain, not the
yeah,
dream you
exactly.
can't afford. Yes, that's the point.
Yeah, yeah. One of the things as well that, just to what my final point on this is, that you have to probably create an ecosystem where clubs, an ecosystem, a basketball culture, so that clubs are able to leverage value from basketball, where shirt sales are possible, club merchandising is possible,
Hmm.
building of your own facilities, and that you can also what get an income from that. You club people, club owners, or club executives need to think along those lines as well to sustain their businesses.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Actually, and then to also close up on this, and I felt the right thing needs to be done. To my Burundi fans, to my Burundi teams that have been watching this program and so on. I'm not attacking the country. I'm making this clear again. I'm not attacking the country, but I'm trying to make the right thing being done. Like to tell them that the right thing needs to be done sometimes. At some point, you need to do the right thing just to keep that image for yourself. It's people are thinking I'm attacking Burundi and stuff. Some people even came into my DM saying what I'm doing is bad, it's not good, I shouldn't do that. It's killing the discouraging the teams. As I said, if you know you can't run a team, don't start it. Don't start it at all. Yes.
But
Yeah,
clubs
come
like
you were
Urunani
saying
have been around for a long time, and I mean, it's just that now,
exactly.
yes, basketball is now becoming more visible. So you assume that they understand the business of the game, and over the past
Exactly.
2 years, we've seen how things have been happening in Burundi, the eyes on it, and then when you get news like this, then you are like, oh, what's going on? So yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, fans
yeah.
are always also gonna be emotional. They have that attachment to the
Mm-hmm.
clubs, and yeah, it's very sad that you are getting those kind of threatening messages about
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
and which should not be the case. But hey, we have to do what we have to do,
Yeah.
and hopefully, clubs also, clubs fans understand that we are also part of this ecosystem where we have to like
Mm-hmm.
dissect certain issues, even the controversial ones as well.
Exactly, exactly. I know this has been happening in Africa. Running a club in Africa is not easy. That I know. It comes with a lot of
Yeah.
responsibilities and a lot of courage to run a successful club in Africa. So I understand them. I understand them, but the right thing needs to be done. We can't overlook certain things. We've been overlooking it for the past years now, but this time around, I think to protect the image of African basketball, we need to stand up and talk about this. Moving away from the salary crisis. There was a news that broke out in South Africa. We're back home now, whereby one of the best teams currently in South Africa has created a female national team. They decided to invest in the female basketball as well, and then take the world or and take Africa, sorry, and take Africa by surprise again with their female team. So the news was Johannesburg Giants creating a ladies team. Before we move into their new coach appointee and everything, I want to know your take on what this ladies team brings to the country, or like what's the kind of what do you think about it there? Let's go that way.
Well, it's important that they started the women's team. It's a good move by them. The Giants, well, what we have seen right now in Gauteng, there hasn't been a lot of what action taking place on the court. So you can have the team, but when you are inactive for a good part of the year, what's the point of that? Starting that team. So while it's a good thing for them, you have to make sure that there are always are always competing. I think yes, there'll be tournaments like the Ashes tournament, the FNL tournament happening at Vets, but you also need that what the JBL to be playing throughout that 6 months so that we can, it can actually have a proper impact on basketball in Gauteng and in Johannesburg.
Yeah, yeah. When we talk about ladies basketball in South Africa, it has a low turnout. To be sincere with you, we don't focus mainly on women's basketball in South Africa. Yeah, maybe if I'll say okay. Let me just put it this way: in Cape Town, there are more support for ladies basketball in Cape Town, whereby we've seen the Cape Town ladies dominating sections a lot in South Africa. Yeah. But yeah, but it's a good thing. It's a good thing they are bringing up this ladies team, and we all know the dreams of this team. We all know the projects that is this is leading to get a team to represent in the WBAL as well, just like the men did in the BAL thing. So it's a good project. But the question is, how are they going to keep this team competing at the top level till that time comes? We know the men
I
have
mean,
tougher competitions, but the ladies, how are they going to keep them in that system whereby they can compete with top clubs, top level players day in day out? We know ladies basketball in South Africa here, it's very poor. I mean, we don't have that much
yeah.
competition when it comes to ladies basketball.
Look, I think you have to ask yourself as well in terms of is there an interest? Well, there is an interest from women in basketball, but there are so few I guess available, or few clubs with women's teams. You can probably count like, okay, your Josie Nuggets have a women's team, your MBBs have your women's team, Johannesburg Giants now, Soweto Academy, there's the A Town Queens. So sometimes the league has to also what sometimes there's one club that comes through and then they fizzle away. So there has to be what maybe when you start a club, you have to also say, what does the constitution of the BSA say? We need to have a women's team, so let's make sure that we make provision for that, so that there is a thriving basketball culture, that's inclusive as well.
Yeah, yeah, I clearly understand the points, and yeah, I just hope they can keep this, they can keep up to the standard, and because qualifying to the WBAL in the Zone 6 is not an easy work. It's not a walk in the park at all. It's one of the difficult things to do, whereby
I
you
think,
have most,
man, they've got a long way to go. I mean, right
yeah,
now, I doubt that there's a women's team right now from South Africa that can match up to the rest of the teams in this zone. Like, you have
yeah,
to compete against clubs from Mozambique, clubs from Angola that have a long
Angola,
history and players that are always competitive. I'm sure
exactly,
players that have played in those competitions can tell you about the standard of
yeah,
competition at that level. So
hmm.
we have to really invest a lot to make sure that the ladies are competitive at that level. Even for the men, do we have BAL level quality players? I doubt it right now. We always have to now source from outside, like players who have South African roots to come and play here. So we have to, it's not just the women, it's the men as well. So we have to relook our system and hopefully with not to say that the elections will change anything, but the leadership that comes through, they have a vested interest in making sure that the game in South Africa grows,
Yeah.
and it grows to a level where players are at that quality, that Angola has, that Egypt has, that Senegal has.
Yeah, yeah. Also, I read they running a trials. So if you're a lady bowler who wants to play in a pro team, I think you should just walk into their facility or wherever the trials. Though the date is not been out yet, but I think yeah, this is a chance for you to showcase your talents at the professional level. So if any lady is interested, they can keep up to date on their social media pages, and then it gets feeds on how they can get to play in the trials. But let's move away from the team itself, and let's talk about the appointment of a new coach. They recently just
Yes.
appointed a new ladies coach for the team. I think I've forgotten the name. You are going to help me with the name then,
Coach
because yeah,
Nosipho.
yes, yes.
Yeah, I
Sorry,
think
I'm bad with the
she's
names.
Nosipho Njokweni. Yes, she's a former player, played for the national team, played for UJ, and also a qualified coach. I think a FIBA qualified coach. Well, I guess she's coached in the BNL with Soweto, coached the Soweto Panthers. Well, they didn't make much noise during her time. So she's also a coach who's coming into a situation where she still has to prove herself and prove that she is a capable coach who can meet what the aspirations of the Giants. So, but she is what she has been around the coaching circuit for some time. So this is her chance, I guess, to prove what she can do. Well, once the women's team is what finally, once the women's team starts playing games.
Yeah, I've not seen much of her, so I can't comment. But the little I've seen from her was in the um, U18 Afro Basket that was being hosted here in South Africa,
Yeah,
and that's the
I
only
think
time I got to see her.
I think it would be hard to judge her from that because
Yeah, yeah,
preparation
I was
for that
coming to
tournament that
yeah, I was coming to that
was
point
a
though.
disaster. So
Yeah, yeah, I was thinking, kind of,
so
I'm
it would
not.
be hard to judge her from that. And yeah, you
No, I wasn't going to judge her. I wasn't going to judge her on that tournament,
know.
but I was just trying to get to that level because I know
Oh,
that tournament was a bit horrible without from the poor preparations South Africa had, even from the men. You could see from the men's side to the ladies' side, you could see that there was no proper preparation for the South African national team. So I wasn't going to judge her for that, but I'm just saying I've just seen some few things she did with the team, though the team was didn't live up to expectation, but you could see that they had a proper play, they had a proper setup to compete. But just that it was unfortunate that they had mighty hands or mightier teams dominating that circle
yeah,
over them. Yeah, I think they appointing her. It's giving her the opportunity to prove herself again.
yeah.
on the national level and continental level as well. We just I just wish her all the best since I don't know much about her. I'm going to say I wish her all the best because literally I was thinking it was Coach Tess, the one for the coach for the tax basketball team that was actually going to get appointed, but yeah, it took a turn that another coach had to. Yeah, but anyways, we are here to support whoever takes the team to that level. It's a South Africa thing. South Africa is always behind their teams and clubs supporting them day in day out. So yeah, we wish her all the best in her appointment, and we hope she elevates the Giants name just like the men are doing, putting us on the map over there. I just hope the ladies will also live up to the expectation. Though I know it's very difficult. It's very, very difficult now because their journey is one of the deadliest journeys. So
And I
yeah,
think for me, we have to start from the ground up. We don't right now, like I said, we don't have the. We have to build that quality player that can, you know, be at the standard of the Ingvild Mukaros, the Annabella
yeah,
Cosas, the of this world, Christina Matikits in Angola. We have
mm,
to start from the ground up and, make sure that when by the time these players get to senior level, they are able to compete with those types of players in zone 6 and also when the continental tournaments like the WBLA starts. So right now we are still far behind men and women. I think yes, the Giants did well, but they had to like in the men's side, I mean, they recruited, they had to get players who play or outside of South Africa. They had one or two players that are homegrown that are still that still have a lot something to offer. But even in the men's side, we still have to, get guys who can compete with the Childe Dundaos of this world. Who else? The Mahmouds in Egypt, Abdel
yeah.
Hakim Zowita as well, the Makta Gays. So every we have to start from the ground and make sure that we are building players that once they get to that senior level, yeah, they're able to compete.
Yeah. But before we go, let me just make this. Let's just take this. Who do you think, or what are some of the players you're expecting to make this team? From your view, your point of view, what are some of the players,
This is
or
the
who are some of
women's
the
team.
players? Yes, yeah, the women's team.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm sure they will get, I'm sure there's a lot of interest in them, but also it has to do with, yeah, once you make that move to the Giants, are you going to play regularly? Are you going to,
Yeah,
what are you going to play regularly? Is there going to be regular competition? So everybody can flock to you, but if you're not playing like competitively throughout the year, then what's the point? Because what did we see? MBB started a women's team. They were only active for how long?
yeah, she
They
didn't
played
last.
in
It's really
yes, the Ashes tournament. I think I don't know if they played the FNL tournament. So and also there hasn't been a JBL for women. Once you don't have the one, if you are only competing for 3 months in a year and not throughout, then yeah, you
yeah,
there's no way you can properly measure yourself and even if you wanted to aspire to play competitively on the continent, yeah, you are gonna find yourself wanting.
yeah. But as I said earlier, we solidly behind them, and we'll be supporting them from our homes and wherever we are. It's going to be a good feeling seeing teams from South Africa competing at the national level and the continental level because it gives a good image to the country as well. So yeah, we just pushing them. We're going to support whatever comes up. We're going to be here again to talk about it, and we know how we go about it. But anyways, I know the journey is it's not going to be an easy one for them, but we wish them all the best in at the long run. Yeah, before we go, what will be your submission for the
Yeah,
day or something before we go?
yeah, yep.
What do you have to say before we
Or just the outlook for South African basketball or African basketball in the thing.
yeah, South African basketball.
Yeah, man. Of course, elections are coming up. I guess maybe we'll talk about it in the future episodes. So you'd want to see, hopefully, significant changes, having people that are really invested in growing the game in this country. We've seen with the previous executive how things have played out in the past. And I would want us to move on from that and, be what potential into performance on the court.
Mm.
And that means being able to get things done in the boardroom so that we have strong program, we build strong programs, and we build what we get coaches coming through, getting their certifications, and getting referees trained throughout the year. Just building basketball here in South Africa, and making sure that we grow the culture. And for Africa, man, I think we are headed in that right direction. Yes, those challenges of player salaries are an issue, and clubs need to professionalize. So it's important that we start getting into that culture of professionalism on the continent. So that's what I would want to see. And what with the World Cup coming up for the women, hopefully a top three finish for Nigeria and Germany, and Mali as well, maybe being a quarterfinalist. That's no for Nigeria have got automatic qualification, so I'd like to see Mali, South Sudan qualify for the tournament as well. And which one? The countries: Mali, South Sudan, Nigeria, just for Africa to do well in World Cup qualifiers and also in the tournament itself. Yeah.
Yeah. With that, the qualifiers for the World Cup men's edition will be coming up again in February, whereby Senegal will be hosting, I think, Group C, and Egypt will be hosting the Group D in Cairo. So yeah, we'll bring you news. We'll bring you news on all those developments, and then we'll be here to sit down, talk about it, digest and bisect everything bit by bit for you to get a glimpse of what is happening. And yeah, thank you for your time today, and really appreciate coming through today.
All right, Kwaku, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it, and have a good rest of the day.
Yeah, thank you to our viewers. This is another episode brought to you by Growing the Game. And yeah, there are lots happening in African basketball, and we are here to bring you every details about it. So just go subscribe to our page, like our videos, comment, and keep the notification bell on so that in case we drop any episode, you'll be the first to get to know about it. Thank you for your time, and thank you for watching this. This is Kekeli bringing to you this episode. Until we meet again, it's bye for now.